Hello, welcome to I'm Angry, Annoyed, and Amused podcast. You're on with Mike. So next to me is Matt.
What's up?
Over there's Johnny.
Yo.
Across the table is the other Mike.
Hello.
Today, we're going to be talking about, I guess, a relatively breaking report, actually, because it just came out yesterday. But pretty much the whole Signal debacle. I'm sure you've probably heard about it. That's the best way to talk about things, I think. The whole Signal debacle with the main people being Waltz, some guy, I don't know his first name, Hegseth, and... I guess, and the reporter. I don't know his name. Some reporter from The Atlantic. JG.
The editor-in-chief of The Atlantic.
Editor-in-chief, yeah, whatever. That guy.
So you know his name?
I think his first name's Jeffrey.
It's JG, I'm pretty sure is the acronym.
We can go with some reporter. It's fine.
Yeah, some reporter from The Atlantic.
He's the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic.
Okay.
He runs it.
Nonetheless,
he is The Atlantic.
If you guys haven't heard about what
How do
happened.
you know that?
How do I know?
I saw that too.
I actually
read that
saw
too.
his tweet of it.
Oh,
When
okay.
he was like, this is actually crazy. I have this thing before he released the
Got
messages.
it. I thought you just knew who the editor-in-chief was.
And what did you
so
think of
that
the
was, like,
messages?
Strange.
Well, first, I'm going to give
Let
brief
Mike,
context.
Let Mike give the lead.
Well, yeah.
Well, just if anybody hasn't heard about this, I'm just going to give the most...
I really wanted to finish to talk about beef tallow, but we'll bring it up later.
Let's just talk about the whole thing and then at the end explain what we're talking about.
All right.
No.
go.
So basically,
Give the quick
there was
synopsis of it.
there was 5 or 6. I don't know all the people in it,
thought
but
there was, like,
definitely
15
Hegseth and
people
Waltz.
on it, but-
Well, there was like a couple of people who were like the top heads, pretty much, of foreign policy decision making. You know,
Chatting
A cabinet,
on a
more or
government
less.
a cabinet,
approved,
right? Trump was in it. JD Vance was in it.
JD Vance
chatting
is
on a
in it.
government approved,
Chatting on Signal, which is
Signal.
apparently a government approved encrypted messaging platform app.
Yeah.
App. Somebody being the guy Waltz, who is something like when he's also up there in the foreign policy world of the cabinet of the current administration. He added apparently this guy JG, the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic. He said he doesn't know the guy. Oddly enough, afterwards, like when this whole came out, he's like, I don't even know who that is.
Said
He
he never
added
spoke
him.
to him, but his
He said he
number
never
was in his
spoke to him,
phone.
but he added him. And then I guess nobody else in the group chat realized. I don't know how Signal works. I don't know if it pops up.
It gets,
Yeah.
They
you
only
get
saw
a
it.
notification.
I would assume.
But
I
they
assume.
only-
It's just-
they
it's just
said
like
they only
WhatsApp.
saw the initials though.
It's very
Yeah,
similar
yeah.
to
They
WhatsApp.
don't see the name.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Well,
I just
you put your name. That's the thing.
It's like WhatsApp, 'cause you put your own name in.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
It's
so whatever. This guy got added in. He
anonymized.
should not have been in it. He's a reporter, and in the when it
worst
became
person to add.
when it became a thing now, what apparently happened is Hegseth was putting in, as it was written, war plans.
War plans.
And obviously, one of the people in the chat was just a civilian reporter. He then
Not just a civilian reporter.
editor-in-chief,
Editor-in-chief.
head
Well, he is a
editor,
civilian reporter.
in-chief.
Sounds very convenient.
civilian reporter. Well, the funny thing,
Well, that's the thing. Like,
we
he
can
wouldn't
get
have
into
a
that
random.
later.
He wouldn't have a random number of a random reporter. I think it makes more sense it's the editor-in-chief than anything else.
Yeah. But that's pretty much the background of what happened. They said it was war plans. They're like, oh, there's a bit, a breach of security. This could have killed American servicemen. They could have whatever, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. We're debating that, right? I think a good place to start is the actual messages.
I read the messages today. I know nothing about war plans,
Really?
but this didn't seem like war plans to me.
Really?
I don't know anything about war.
Are
plans.
they up there? You don't know about
Yeah,
war?
they are.
You can
I
pull up the thing.
I don't know.
can
Can
read
you
through
draw
them.
me a little war map like you did the deck map this
I
afternoon?
think-
I can't.
I
I
think
don't know anything about
like
war.
you could.
Describing them.
I could play Risk.
What
You
they
got to
were,
do a left flank, a
what
right
they
flank.
were essentially was descriptions of an action that they took. It was like in Yemen, right?
It ended up in Yemen. He didn't say Yemen in the text. But yeah,
so,
they bombed.
So
there was a bombing in Yemen.
The idea of it is it's
yesterday.
intelligence.
this-
It's intelligence that if somebody who did know something, relatively connected to it, as in someone on the Yemen side, would have been able to figure out times and dates.
I don't know.
He's got it right here. It says,
here.
it says, yo, peeps,
It
what
says-
up? We're going to drop the bombs all over that place. Shot, 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 bang, bang.
How do you shut his mic off?
That would have been way funnier if it was that. That would have been a scandal.
So
Are you medicated?
Not yet.
the idea is that
Look, it says, obviously the time stamp is on here. And the time stamp is relevant because the stuff didn't start till 2 hours later, so I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Weather is favorable, just confirmed, CENTCOM, word, go for the mission. F-18's launch. Trigger-based F-18 first strike window starts. Target terrorist is in his known location, should be on time. More F-18s launch. Strike drones on target. Second strike starts. Also for Now, I don't know. I mean, based on what I heard today, that does not give enough information, right?
Yeah, I don't know what rises to the level of.
There should be coordinations, I feel like.
Well, classified should mean.
Well, I think that is classified. Like,
Well, I don't know. I'm
just
asking
in the sense that, like I said, if you are a foreign body, and you have a little bit more intel than we have on what they were doing, and this is kind of like a final piece. If you're expecting something from the United States to happen to someone in your terrorist organization, and you get that, not that they did because it ended up just being a journalist, but if you did, that's very valuable information. Now, how many lives were at risk? I don't know. But
I'm not.
I mean, I think,
I'm not even
but that's-
debating that. I think it was a really dumb thing
It was
to
a
do.
dumb thing to do
Yeah.
completely.
I think it's
1,000%.
add the
really
guy.
bad on the
It
editor to
was
have released
stupid.
that too. Like,
Well, he
he
didn't
gets
wait.
to-
he
he
waited.
gets to go.
He waited 10 days.
oh, he did
He
wait.
waited,
But I mean, it's a
and he-
huge story for him.
And he didn't
Yeah,
release
yeah.
those messages until they called him out on it.
Okay, I thought
Yeah.
I thought it
Yeah,
came
he
out.
gets
He
to
just
sell a
said it
headline.
happened.
Yeah, he
Okay,
gets
that's
to sell a
fine. I thought he
headline.
got it and then
But
like
from
released
what
it.
I heard
I'm like,
today-
that's
the,
messed
the
up.
bombing went.
Like-
that happened.
No.
Okay.
And actually, you can see it in the messages. They say it was successful.
I didn't get that far.
But I don't see. Like,
Was that the
there's-
part that said
there's
bang,
not
bang,
a lot
boom,
of
boom?
information now. There's not.
Yeah,
From what I
most
understand.
people would not.
No, there
know.
wasn't even
Yeah,
enough
like,
information.
I guess classified
that's not a war
information-
plan or even a whatever the other word they're calling it now.
I just
But
Attack
again,
plan.
I don't know for
I-
sure.
They've
just-
downgraded to attack
Yeah.
plan.
I just watched a show on Netflix. It was with one of the the Hemsworth brothers.
Enough with this.
It was with one of the Hemsworth brothers or whatever his name is. I don't know. And then Milo something, the other actor. I don't know people. So, but
I don't know, Milo.
but the guy in the thing was one of those people that call in, and one of the end scenes he he calls in like the people that sit at the desk and control the drones, and he kind of said what you're read there. He's like at 9:05, this, that, 3, and so when you were reading that, I was getting flashbacks to the thing. So it could be exactly like that.
yeah, I mean, I think it was incredibly stupid.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It was completely
I think they're
stupid and embarrassing.
as far as like a
Sleep deprived.
what's it called? Like for Hegseth, let's say, because he's the guy who actually, I believe, right? It was Hegseth who wrote the plans. Like, as far as him getting in trouble, I don't know. I feel like there should be some apparatus for like, I don't know. He clearly didn't. What's the word? Sacrifice the mission. Like
Yeah.
it still went off successfully,
protocol
right? He didn't
change.
release to the Yemen. He didn't have like
Yeah.
I don't know,
It's
some Yemen terrorist,
it's-
and he said like we're gonna bomb this guy at this time.
Right.
Keep an eye out, right? Obviously that would be bad, but I understand too that like I'd imagine that if you just knew Hegseth, like personally, and you were like at dinner the night before, and he said, "Oh, by the way, we're bombing Yemen tomorrow," you're probably not supposed to do that. Even like that's probably classified.
Yeah.
I think the stupidity comes in of like not knowing who's in the chat, because without this, the editor in chief being in there. To me, it doesn't seem like anything's wrong with it. It just so happens that this guy's in there.
Yeah.
And that's like definitely an issue of, I guess you call it security. But it just like,
Well, it's an
I feel
issue
like the
of-
question would be, how did that happen? How did this one guy who apparently never spoke to or doesn't know the
Yeah,
editor?
that's the
Well,
thing.
that has to be a
And
lie.
I don't know.
right? I
You
mean
don't-
that.
No, I
And
know.
you
It's
don't,
just,
you don't know because they claim that aides put numbers in their phones for different reasons, because they have to contact somebody. They don't know exactly how it got it. But if the guy added it himself because he thought it was somebody else because he only had it in his
he had two
initials
JGs
or
or
whatever
whatever.
the case may be.
Still stupid.
It's stupid.
You still got to know.
They shouldn't be.
You still
got to
get the right number.
Stuff.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
1,000%. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Seems like a
But
job.
see, like
Was
one
it-
thing
was
when I
it
was
as
reading
bad
it,
as what they're saying, I don't know.
No,
That's
they
what
were,
I don't
I mean, they
think.
were selling a story, right?
Yeah.
This
Right,
is
right.
A,
He
this
said,
is
like,
a case of like
they told me-
legitimate. It's a legitimate security concern in terms of protocol. Not
Yeah, like
again,
protocol,
I'm not going to
that's the
say
right
that this
word.
guy should necessarily get in too much trouble either. But it's a okay. We should probably up our standards a little bit
Well,
in
I mean, the
terms
thing
of
is
how
that-
we create these chats and what we say in them.
Yeah,
And then on the
I
other hand,
agree.
it's a journalist trying to sell a story, which is what that's his job. That's what he's going to
Yeah,
do.
but I mean, like, if I was in the government, right, I wouldn't have anybody be in chats that people can add people to.
Exactly.
I would
Yeah.
want to
Be
know
locked
every
out.
group, and I'm like,
locked
no,
out.
only these 4 people. You don't get to add your
Yeah,
buddy.
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to be
yeah.
locked
Like
out.
you don't get to,
Right.
you know what I mean? And they're all high ups. Like maybe that is a rule, and they just all happen to have, like
The
you know,
clearance.
Admin
editor.
accents.
Right. That might be the case because they're all top like heads of state guys.
Right.
You know what I mean? So whatever in that regard, it just seems like really insane. And then apparently,
Seems wild.
what I heard today, and I believe this like is public knowledge, but if it's wrong, I apologize. But apparently, the reporter said in his article, which is hidden behind a paywall, so I didn't read it. That's why I don't know.
Me neither. I waited
But
for him to
apparently,
release the
he said
messages.
after that he removed himself from the chat.
He said that, yeah.
So no one removed him.
Well, I guess still at that point nobody might have known. The article hadn't came out. He didn't write the article. He like left the group chat, then made the article.
Right. But they also should have got a notification of that, right?
Yeah,
You
someone
would
left
think.
the group.
Well,
Somebody left the group.
Well, and look, this might be a dumb question. No, not a dumb question, but like an observation. I just can't imagine what kind of editor-in-chief journalist who just got the story of a lifetime would leave the group chat that nobody's
know.
telling him to leave.
I'd be waiting for
Like
more.
when he thought he saw classified information,
I'd
he's
be
like,
in there.
"I'm in trouble." You know you're not. You know you
Well,
can't
he
be in
is
trouble for that.
protected. Yeah, he is protected.
You know you can't be in trouble for that.
from classified.
He has to know that.
He could publish it, and he's allowed to do that.
Right.
They
He
would
had,
have to
like-
prove that it did. They would have to prove that his publication of it did harm in order for it to be illegal for him to release classified information. He could do whatever he wants.
So like that's odd. I don't. Just like the whole story is like kind of weird, and it's really built
like-
around like a general dumb
it's
like
anything else,
lack
you
of
know,
protocol
You're not going to
thing.
find out what happened.
Is he gonna end up dead?
We're never going to know what
yeah,
happened.
right.
Which is the worst,
Right?
most frustrating thing.
him,
He's gonna end up dead?
That's too
No,
obvious.
he's
They
not.
can't do that.
In a car crash.
I don't think I'll end up dead. But like also in
And the parent suicide, shot 3 times in the back.
in reality terms, like was it a breach of protocol? It seems like, or at least it should be.
Or they didn't have a
was
protocol.
it right or didn't have one? Was it a dumb thing to do from like from the perspective of like 3 people? Yeah, but it also there was no negative effect. Like
No,
nothing.
and that's,
Luckily.
what-
That's
I
the
know.
thing. It's
Luckily,
like now-
I'm not saying it should
now
happen
you
more.
can-
But you know
I'm
what
just
the problem
saying,
is?
how do you
Like,
take
this
somebody
is
to
the
account
problem
for?
with the state of everything these days, right?
Yeah.
Because nobody talked about incompetence, right, for the last 4 years. Now everything's incompetence.
Yeah, well,
right.
that's true.
And that's the problem, right? Like this
Right.
is an incompetent thing that happened, but no one wants to say that it's incompetent because for the last 4 years nobody wanted to say there was incompetence.
Yeah.
Right. When people were dying in places, nobody cared. Right. It was like, oh, that's okay. It wasn't our fault. It was something else. Nobody takes responsibility for this stuff anymore, and it all drives. We talk about this all the time. It all comes from the media, right?
Yeah,
like
that's true.
the media is not trustworthy. Right, the fact that he's coming out with the story, he got called out immediately because this is the guy that came out with the Russia story. He came out
Yeah,
with,
he's like a renowned like Trump hater.
exactly. So it's like you can't trust these people to even do their jobs anymore because they just want to do one thing. They just want to bring one person down all the time,
Yeah.
and you can't trust it, right?
Yeah, I think also because of the from the media perspective, like the lack of I don't know, calling it fair, right? I mean, they definitely they'll lie about it and say they're all just reporting the truth, but I mean, and on both sides, right? Like for Fox, like Fox
both
does
sides.
it too, but you know, to always take this angle, it's like we also, I think, because I have no idea. I was just thinking about it just now, but you lose like the ability to know what is like a reasonable
Reaction.
punishment,
Yeah.
reaction, punishment. Like, because I'm thinking, okay, so let's just say Hegseth, right? I would hope that what's his thing, his actual title. He's
Secretary of Defense.
Secretary of Defense. I would think, right, that like the Secretary of Defense should not make mistakes like that.
Right.
He didn't add the guy. Fine. You should like I don't know if that's your job, you should check the group chat. If I'm going to say something
And you get a
If I'm going to
notification,
say a
and it
joke
says it.
that's like a little like I'll check a group chat I'm in. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. So I don't know. Check it like for sure. I don't know if that raises to the level of like he's got to be fired though,
Right. No.
Because the left or like Democrats, like
Yeah,
the
they
media,
want him all.
they're like he should be
should be
killed.
killed.
You know, not literally, but that's kind of like the
not
explosivity.
fit, is what they're
The explosivity
Yeah.
around is like this is enough that he should never have a job again.
That's why I think it's.
But like I know for a fact,
that's
if
what
it
I'm
was the
saying.
last
That's
Secretary
why-
of Defense, they wouldn't have done that.
But that's why I say
just wouldn't have.
You feel
So-
like you're in a sitcom, right?
Yeah.
In a sitcom,
No, yeah.
a situation gets created, and then it gets compounded because you can't, like, nobody wants to tell the truth
Yeah.
about what happened.
I was watching Curb
right?
Your Enthusiasm.
I'm saying,
very
like,
similar thing.
somebody just come out and say, what is the truth? Is this compromising information
Yeah,
or
kid-
not?
right, like, I feel
Is
like there
this
is a
really
truth. There has to be an
compromising
idea
information?
in there.
Like even Matt, you got to be assuming that it's compromising, even if a foreign government got it. But somebody there should be somebody that has the final authority on this, right?
Right.
Yes,
Is it?
This is but or know without having a coordinate, without knowing where it's coming from,
Right.
where
And
it's going
like an
to.
official guideline.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, because I have a
they could have
feeling-
been chasing down any one of 10,000 terrorists, right?
He didn't even say Yemen.
Right.
Right.
Like,
So,
would the Yemen government,
you said
would
it
they
today, right?
maybe know
Would-
that they're, like,
Should-
they heard that there might be attack?
they
Maybe.
get this.
I don't know.
They get this bit, and every terrorist in the world goes runs
underground,
and hide,
right.
Like they all move around. You know what I
Right,
mean?
Maybe that happens, right? Maybe that's how
Right.
it is bad. But, like,
So
that is that really it?
We're in sitcom.
But they come out
because you
eventually.
can't get the truth anywhere.
Well, right. I just
It's
mean,
terrible.
from what I read, right? There was, and I mean, unless there's like also a secret code inside of it, which there isn't. I mean, whatever, right? There's no specifics. And when I read it, what I was thinking, because I had seen that Hegseth said there was no classified information, right? And I was thinking, okay, well, the stupidity of the general thing happening, the message getting out there, it's on the Atlantic, like this, should have been like nobody should have read that ever, right? That being out is enough of a problem. But then really it would seem like they were trying to take Hegseth to task because he's Secretary of Defense of releasing classified information.
Yep.
And I saw multiple articles that said he could have gotten service members killed.
Well, but
And then I was thinking,
think
I was like,
about
all right,
this.
let me read it.
But if that guy, the editor in chief, thought that this was going to compromise something, and he's in the chat before it's happening, he should have said something then, right?
You would
Not
think.
wait for it to happen to
Say,
say
hey
if
guys,
somebody
I'm
does
in here.
Somebody does get right. What if somebody did get killed over this?
That'd be myself.
I mean, it's not really his fault.
no,
unless he,
Matt-
if he released
would he
it.
Well,
still
that's
be
what Matt
said.
would he
It
still
would've
be
been his
releasing
fault.
it to say I knew about it in the 2
Probably
hours
not.
ahead of time?
Probably not.
Right?
Probably not. It depends.
No.
Well,
Would
it
he-
would still sell.
It
Yeah,
would
but
sell,
wouldn't he
but
get in trouble?
he would have a big mark
ruin
on
his-
his.
yeah.
He would get in trouble for that, though, right?
The reporter? No, the
No.
reporter wouldn't. He wouldn't be actually
The
literally
only way-
accountable,
the
but
only
people would
way
be like,
that-
how could
that
you?
a reporter could get in trouble?
How could you do that?
How could you hold back?
First of all,
knowing that it was
even
going to cause that
we're
problem.
saying that he wouldn't release it, so he definitely
Right.
can't be in trouble just for being in the chat and being aware of it.
Right,
and,
of
like,
course.
not,
Yeah,
not
that
calling
that
the
I know.
FBI.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't
Now-
hack it or anything.
Right.
Even if he was to release the information,
Right.
the only way that he could get in trouble for releasing confidential information, if you're going to call it confidential
Right.
information, is if harm came from
Right,
it.
that's what I'm saying. So
if
that's what
people
Michael
died,
X though.
If he released it before it happened,
Right.
No, if he
which
released
didn't,
it, then
which
people
he
died.
didn't.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Then he would be held responsible.
He's
I'm not
saying-
saying
Right, but he
released
wouldn't.
it.
He would
I'm
never
He's
say
saying
that. He
something
knows
bad
that.
did
He
happen,
would-
and
yeah.
then it finds
But
out
if-
he did know.
But right.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Would he
Like-
release it? Which he wouldn't because it
Right.
would stain his reputation,
Right,
or
exactly.
he would because all he cares about is
But
the
why
money.
did he hold
I mean,
on
who
to it?
knows?
Well-
Hoping that nothing bad was going to happen.
well, just
if he
probably
thought
waiting
it was,
it.
if he thought it was such important war plans,
He probably
He probably knew exactly
because
the
they
level
all-
of importance that it was.
He was
because
probably waiting
that's
it
what
out.
Which
I'm
is
saying.
not much.
Not much.
Well-
but he wants to make it out to be more
Of
than it
course,
is
of
now.
course.
Right.
That's because
Right?
he's selling.
Because in the thing it says, I lost my train of thought. Keep going.
Well, I was just gonna say that. So I saw that Hegseth said like it was actually absolutely nothing classified, and I gotta imagine unless like they really are all that stupid, which I don't believe, that he didn't even think to like look at the text and make sure it's not classified information before he said that.
Right.
After like the report came out, they catch him on a tarmac and they're like, "What about this?" He's like, "None of it was classified." And then when I was reading it, I was thinking like, I assume he knows what raises something to that level.
Right.
And I noticed that I thought it was odd that one of the texts specifically said the terrorist is at his location. I was like, if he knows where it's happening, why wouldn't he just say Yemen?
Right.
If it
Right.
you know what I mean? Like my point being, I imagine that Hegseth probably doesn't. They probably don't go over real war plans just with that group, minus the journalist.
Right.
Right.
He probably doesn't tell all 5 or 6, however many guys are in there,
Yeah.
of the exact specific plan. So he's probably already lowering the level of information
Right. I
that
agree.
can get out
to
before
a,
he
to a level that is acceptable. Like maybe not to the general public.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not saying that on CNN for no reason. Like, hey, we're bombing somebody tomorrow at 11:45. Like, obviously not. But I just imagine because reading through, I was like, he could at multiple times. Not that he could have he could have given every specific.
Right.
He could have said which people are on the planes, but to specifically say the terrorist is at his known location.
Right. It's very cryptic.
So it should be that's cryptic for no reason. If you know, because he knows,
There's no
Hegseth
reason.
knew.
Well, it's cryptic probably.
Well,
and,
because
for a
I'm thinking that he
protocol
was
in case of a
already
leak,
right. The way we're talking about protocol. I think he.
That
It
is
seems like to me
protocol, right.
that he was probably already operating within a level of
I think so.
security
I think so.
protocol.
Definitely.
That's what it seems like to me.
Definitely.
So then that's why the calling it classified is crazy. To add the guy at all is stupid, and somebody should be held like to account in some way.
In some way.
But I just
But-
don't
but
see the
what's the
war
punishment?
plan.
They'll have to change
I
rules.
think
To me.
I
Now-
think there was a Democratic that paid off an aide of this guy's to put this number on that chat. So
Very well
let
could
me-
be.
let me
Very
ask
well
you-
could be.
let
We
me
don't know,
ask you
and we'll
this.
never know.
To
Let
make
me
the
ask-
Republicans
Let me
look
ask you
bad.
this, right?
I had a funnier one
Let's
than that.
say
Yeah.
let's say he's lying about leaving the chat, and he's only saying it to get away with.
And he's
being
like
the
still
chat
in it?
longer, right? Right.
Oh, they would
Okay,
know.
first of all,
he changed his name.
First of all, it'd be hilarious. Secondly, if something else happens and
They've
he
got
comes
rid of
out
that chat
again
themselves.
and he's like,
I'm still in it."
This is another message
That
that,
would
I got.
be-
What do you think in terms of like repercussions for
If it happens
security?
again,
I think that
they
there's
should
some-
all be fired.
There's
Well,
no.
first of
there-
all-
I
If it
think
happens again.
at that point, I think something's shady because they definitely
I think-
no, because they definitely deleted that channel and created a new one with
I'd
those
hope
people
You
again.
would hope so, but
Right.
you would also hope they wouldn't add someone.
Well,
I
yeah.
think, I think they made it
I don't
clear
think they
yesterday
did.
that they're not going to be using that
I
anymore.
would think so.
Yeah.
I would
to
think
do
that
that
they're-
kind of
I
stuff.
think they. I think they should use iMessage. I mean, that's cool. I'm
I'm
just
fine.
saying.
I don't know much about encryption.
I just-
trust,
I
I trust
it's
you guys.
end-to-end
I
encrypted
think
as well.
we should be good enough that
iMessage
we
is
can
great.
announce our plans and still get people.
Well,
That's what I
oh,
think.
this is the funny, Johnny. You like this? This is the not funny, but this is the conspiracy theory I heard when
Okay.
it like first broke, right? Because it was still like when it first, like I mean, it was only yesterday, but like the first thing was like, oh my god, the Secretary of Defense told this guy legitimate war plans. We could have lost a battalion. You know, like the way they made it sound.
battalion.
Yeah.
But the way that never would have happened.
Right,
also,
You know, the article
letting
was
the
behind the
Yemen,
paywall. Most people had no
but like,
idea.
yeah,
including
that's
me.
true.
I saw the tweet and
But
did
like
not
letting
read the
Yemeni
article.
terrorists know that F-18s are going to be bombing them. I don't know that they have the means. Like Houthi rebels have some good weapons, but like
Yeah.
I don't
Not that.
know if they're shooting down F-18 just because they know they're coming. Like I don't. Whatever. I mean, call that what you will. Like if they don't already have anti-air defense set up,
They're
they're not
screwed.
going to be like, oh, we have 15 minutes. Get the AA gun out of the garage, like where we've been hiding it. I don't know. Whatever.
The deep part of the
That's-
cave.
That's besides the point. But the conspiracy that I heard was that because the funny enough, some of the other texts that are going like viral that aren't anything about the war plans are JD Vance and Hegseth talking about Europe and calling them pathetic.
Oh, that was in that.
Yeah,
It was
that
in
was
that.
in it.
No, I
That's
know.
in it.
I'm just saying, like, that's
come
not.
on.
That has nothing to do with the war plans. It's just a separate part of the text.
Yeah.
But it was included in like the thing.
Really?
So the
Yeah.
conspiracy I heard was that and this is probably, don't get me wrong, this is probably a right, like, what would you call it? Not fairy tale, but like a right delusion of assuming your side is so smart.
Right.
Because this would be ridiculous, but it's kind of funny. Is that they intentionally let this reporter in, like they planned it. Hegseth put out that information. They knew they were going to bomb Yemen, and they were gonna, because the reason why they were doing it is because of the Suez Canal, and they're kind of still defending Europe, which is written in the thing that I think it was JD Vance said. He's like, well,
I'm so sick of.
we're
We're
have-
gonna do it, but we don't.
he said
I'm
only
sick of it.
3% of our trade goes through Suez. 40% of Europe does. They're not going to do anything to stop this. We have to bail them out again. They're pathetic. So the conspiracy is that they let this all out. The Yemen, like the war plan stuff, isn't even like the main point. The point of the release was to get out the anti-Europe thing to rile up the whole pay your own fair share. Because what some people are thinking is that, look, Europe doesn't want to defend themselves.
Right. Of course.
They're going to cry and say, no, you guys have to do it because, I don't know, for some reason. They really have no justification. But they're like, look, if we're going to get them to do it, we have to, like, embarrass them.
Embarrassed them.
We have to literally start embarrassing Europe, like call them pathetic or
Right,
whatever.
right.
Is the idea. I don't believe it. That would be too crazy of a conspiracy, but that's the one I heard.
Well,
when it
somebody
first-
said that if we went to war with Canada, Canada would beat us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, maybe this isn't a hot take, depending, take your stance on it.
I'm sorry to all the Canadians out there, but no.
But no,
Because,
No.
not even close. Not even close.
they have like 6 warplanes.
No, not even close.
I think our
Not even close.
just middle of the country people with guns could take Canada. The army.
Yeah.
You know, like we don't even need the
I mean,
military.
there's some
involved.
outdoorsy Canadians.
No,
you know,
there,
like
there are
guns and
definitely
whatnot,
some,
but
but
not
I'm just
enough.
saying, not
Not
enough.
enough.
Not enough.
Not enough.
We love our Canadian.
We do.
neighbors.
No, I got
do.
nothing wrong with Canada.
We love
Yeah,
hockey.
I love
but,
Canada. I just
I
don't.
don't think you'd beat us in a war.
War to
I'm
war.
sorry.
You know what I
Man.
think we should start doing with the whole mass deportations going on? And again, this is hyperbolic. I don't actually mean this, but it's because it does annoy me enough. When I see like, on like Threads or Instagram or whatever, when there's like a Canada post of like a Canadian going like, I can't believe, I was going to visit in
Oh yeah.
April, but now I'm not coming because I'm scared or whatever. And then there's like American commenters apparently, and they might all be bots. Who knows? Dead internet theory and all that. But there's all these people going like, I'm an American. I'd fight with Canada.
Yeah.
If I was like Trump, I would be saying, look, we're we're not in your thing, but we're monitoring social media. And if you say that, we're deporting you to Canada. You can figure it out with them. You're getting on a plane and we're dropping you out over.
out.
We're dropping you out over Ontario.
You want to fight with them?
Because like that sentiment is so disgusting
It
to
is.
me.
The people that
Yeah.
want to
I
fight
mean,
with
that
Canada
is
wouldn't be
to
helpful.
No, I know they wouldn't
It
help
wouldn't
fight.
be helpful to them anyway.
It's just
Yeah, no, exactly.
the sentiment of it
It is
so.
no. You could be mad at your
so
country and
ridiculous to me.
disgusted
to
by
to
it,
say that,
but
is
to go
so
up
crazy.
to go fight with another country against your country, then get the hell out.
That's
You
nuts.
Get the hell
know
out.
nothing about.
That's
By the way.
nuts.
I'm
I
not.
mean,
I'm not happy
saying
with
it
everything
just to
our
say
government does. A lot of it. Whether
If Canada invaded
but-
us under Biden, I would have fought for America. Of
course.
I'm not going to join
100%.
Canada's side. Are you nuts?
Don't want
Yeah.
to fight for Biden. I'm going to join
I mean,
Canada.
and look, it might be bots and stuff. I don't
I
know.
wish
but
this is gonna be-
Mexico's
I
invaded.
kind of
well,
wish
taking
we
their side.
could. I wish we did have the power to go back to the old days. Like if you say like all these people protesting all these wars and stuff, get your ass over there and fight. Don't just stand in front of some place here that you're never seeing anything with a sign that does nothing here.
Yeah.
Go over to that country
That's
and
why
fight.
I think the Ukraine thing is so nuts. There's
Yeah.
a bunch of like posts and whatever, almost a saying about.
I'm not saying don't support them,
did you
but
see
go
the
there.
EU is willing to fight Russia to the very last Ukrainian.
Yeah, exactly.
Not the last European.
last
They're not
European.
sending anybody. Like they already backtrack on the boots because they thought they were gonna have U.S. They're like, oh, we'll put 10,000 soldiers.
Did you see the thing?
Like
about
that's gonna do
Yeah.
something.
The
Ski resort?
the ski resort they're building in
Uh-huh.
Ukraine? Is that true?
No,
Wait.
I didn't see that.
What?
You didn't see it?
I haven't seen that.
That's been around for a few weeks now.
I haven't seen that.
Apparently,
Where?
apparently,
Multi-billion-dollar ski resort being
they're-
built in the
they're
Ukraine
in the
Right
process.
now?
as we speak.
In the process, they're building a ski resort. Now, there's two things.
Who's they?
So that's the thing. No one knows, but a lot of people are saying that it's already like American and European like
Interests.
interest companies doing. It has nothing to do with it. Because people are like, they're taking all our money and they're building this. So why they need our money if they can do that?
You just
So
don't know
people
if
like it
anything's
has
real.
nothing to do with that. It's a separate thing. So we don't know. But either way, you're in the middle of a war.
What billionaire is funding that
But
to a country in the middle of a
That's
war?
what I'm saying. Why? And your president, who's saying your country needs everybody's help, you're allowing them to build this
And
in
his
the
workers?
time of like war. Like
That's I have not heard about that. That's
You know,
crazy.
like-
I've heard reports that Ukraine was, and apparently this is real. Again, I didn't like read like a firsthand document or anything, so take it what you will. But that they were
Bukovo
apparently
Mountain
so like
Resort, Ukraine includes 26 major lifts, 118 kilometers of slopes, and 33,390 beds.
wow, what? That's a ton.
yeah,
Strange.
it's
Ukraine
massive.
building
Oh my god.
billion-dollar ski resort during the war.
Wow. Apparently, also they've been selling. A lot of the foreign aid that we've given them isn't in the form of cash; it's actual weapons.
Yeah,
don't know if
and they're
it's real.
selling them.
They sell the weapons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like,
That's-
do you
but-
need them?
What is up with that?
Do you need them?
so many
What do you
countries
do?
did
What
that.
do you mean you're selling them? Well, why do you need
selling
money back to buy more weapons?
Yeah.
I thought all the money was for weapons this whole time. I thought you were at war. They're like,
give
well,
them weapons, they sell the
we are
weapons,
at
take the
war,
money,
but like,
buy more weapons.
sell some ATVs, we get better weapons. What are
We,
you
we
talking
don't need the
about?
weapon. We need ammo for it. So
Yeah, right. Yeah, we have the
We
guns.
got no- we got
so
enough,
Sell
so-
half the guns and buy more
To buy
ammo. Come
ammo.
on, like that's so stupid.
We only got,
I
like-
don't know, and I don't. I
we
gotta
only have
know
like
where that
1,000
ends.
people wanting to fight.
Our
You
only-
gave us only. You gave
Our
us
only hope
5,000
is
guns.
aliens coming down because this world, man.
It is
screwed
so
up.
weird.
It is
It's
so
so
freaking-
weird.
We're so intermingled and corrupt all the way.
Yeah.
through.
Everything. Right,
True.
right.
It's
You're
the
right.
New
From
World
right
Order
to the
thing.
top. Right to the top.
ridiculous.
They've been working on that for generations.
I know.
And I'm like, while it's happening, I'm like, maybe. I mean, I don't consider myself stupid, but I guess I'm
do.
intelligent. Okay, I'm stupid. But the thing is like, I look at like in today's world, like with the media, with people talking, and like the way everything's out. I'm like, I see things that you wouldn't have saw 10, 20 years ago, and you're like, how are people allowing this to still happen? Why aren't they stepping up to this? And then I'm sorry if these are the people I'm insulting. I don't care anyway. But then you got these dumb people that follow whatever political group, and they die over whatever. It's the gospel. Whatever they say, they believe. And I'm like, can't you just look at something with an open eye a little bit? Like, listen, I'm a Trump supporter. I don't believe everything he says. I have to look through it and follow
But
it.
it's hard to find stuff.
No, it is.
It is hard
Right?
to find
You-
stuff.
you-
No, I
it's
know,
hard to
but
find,
like,
the
But the
things that-
easiest thing I'm saying is like all these Democrats support Nancy Pelosi and all the Bernie Sanders. The fact that they're all millionaires and so How? Why? Are you not
There was
just
a report,
questioning
yes,
that?
There's like a
Just-
dissonance.
Just
there,
question that.
Yeah, right.
How'd that happen?
Your
There's
basic
like-
thing. You're a guy.
Right.
There's
How?
like 24 senators and congressmen that outperform Warren Buffett
That's just insane.
by a lot,
And
by,
he's
by like a lot.
and he's the best. He's the best.
Of all time, and
yeah.
he's like old, and
Apparent-
it took him like his life.
Apparently,
Right.
he's not because there's 24 people that outperform by like hundreds,
Exactly.
hundreds of percent.
And that's what I'm saying. Like
it's not
That's
even
the
close.
that's the simple question.
like and there's no and they don't even give an answer. Like if they would step up to a mic and say, "Oh yeah," but they give bullshit or hi. Like how are you a supporter not seeing that?
Yeah.
Like don't
Or
be
like
that blinded.
the when during what's his name's I can't think of what it's called, but RFK when he was being interrogated. I can't remember what it's called.
The
You know, they do
hearings,
hearing.
the
Couldn't think of
confirmation
that.
hearing.
Confirmation hearing. When he was talking to Bernie, right? And so RFK was doing. He's the health, Department of Health. So they were asking him a lot of questions about his anti-vaccine sentiment that he apparently, hates vaccines. And Bernie's asking him a question, and he says something about RFK taking money. And RFK says, you took money from Big Pharma.
Right.
And Bernie's like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. He's like, yeah, you did. And Bernie's like, it was only 1.5 million. And it's like, that's a lot of money,
That's a
dude.
lot of money.
What do you mean?
I'll take that.
It's only 1.5 million. Like that's a ton of money.
That's a lot of
That's
money.
not nothing. But he's looking at it, and what's so crazy,
Right, like, I
is
didn't
that
do
they
anything
get,
wrong.
They get so diluted. Not even that. I think they really get so diluted, and Bernie has so much money that he really was like, "That's like my buddy giving me $15.
Right.
That doesn't decide my. That's not how I vote. Yeah,
Yeah.
they gave me money. Everybody
Right.
gives me money.
Right.
It's like, but that. Listen, as a normal person listening to that,
It's
you're
ridiculous.
like, wait, but
You're
you're,
like,
the
how?
anti-corruption guy,
Right, exactly.
Bernie, you're like of the left. You're the I hate rich people.
Exactly.
Yeah. Rich person.
But if they
Rich
give you
guy.
the money, it's okay.
But it's only 1.5 million. Give that away, right? That's bad money. You wrote a book. You get to keep that money, apparently.
Right, that's yours.
his big thing. He's
That's
like, I wrote
your-
a book. If you want to be rich, own 3 houses, write your
Write
own
a
book.
book, right,
Well,
exactly.
That's what he said?
Well, he said that.
He said that, yeah.
Wow.
Years ago when he was running for president.
Wow.
Because he was
Okay.
like back then he was like the Democratic Socialist
Yeah.
guy. And he's
Yeah, I
like, we're
remember.
gonna fully redistribute wealth throughout the country. And some reporter asked him like, well, you own 3 houses. Are you gonna give up 2 of them? And he's like, absolutely not. I wrote a book. He's like, if you want to have 3 houses, you can write a book.
See, the same as that. And even that, I don't read his book. I don't know if it's good or bad. I don't really care. But any other day, if he wasn't in the circle he's with and all the people, no one would have released that book. No one would have cared.
no one
But
would
because
care.
he's so connected and all these
Yeah.
people, publishers are
Because
like,
Bernie
yeah, I'll do
Sanders.
it.
Yeah.
Right?
And he has
100%.
the place.
They
to,
all have
he has
books.
the place to talk
Exactly.
about it.
And he has a
That's-
He
forum.
can go show to show.
Right. It's all-
Books are one of their biggest,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think, money washing
Yeah,
schemes.
and it's all-
because everybody
Everybody writes a
everybody
book.
in Washington has a book.
They all write a
Everybody.
You're
bestseller.
not all that interesting.
And they're all
Yeah.
bestsellers.
You're not all
And
that
they're all
right.
bestsellers.
Of course.
All of them.
It's another
Everybody.
money washing. Who checks every account of a random bot buying a book,
Right.
sending it to the same
a
warehouse
scam.
and burning it?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Exactly.
Nobody's
It's a
reading all these books.
No, absolutely not.
Come on.
No
get
way.
out of here.
I've
Like,
never
I think
even
Kamala
seen-
Harris wrote a book. Like 20 years. Who's reading that?
Problems
Was
are
it-
solvable.
Wait, there was
Right?
I think it's
if
on.
these guys who consider themselves to be the smartest people in the country, right, running the country, wanted to solve problems, they could.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, true.
There's,
That's true.
I don't know if it's some. It's on Amazon. I don't know if it's Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. If you look it up, you'll find it. But it's a book, and
You
it's.
don't know if it's Kamala Harris or Joe Biden.
I don't
Get those two
remember.
mixed up.
No, because it was a while ago. I don't remember which one I was looking up. But the book is just blank pages. It's just blank pages. It's like $10 or something. For, like I
It's got to be Biden. It's
I
like
don't have it.
Biden's,
Look,
Biden's like
it might be Kamala's, I think. But
Biden's like last few thoughts in office.
and
it's
so
just
I don't
like
know if
blank
it was
pages.
somebody made it and like spelled
joke
it
or-
joke,
yeah.
but I was like, this is classic.
Well, there's a
Someone
funny
did it as a
to the kind of combining the book thing plus what you're just saying like with Biden and Kamala. And this is a tangent, but there was I can't think of his name. I think it's Jim Acosta, one of the like a mainstream media like liberal reporter, who he shilled for Biden. This videotape, I mean, like not hours, but like multiple segments of him saying Biden's as sharp as anything. I just spoke to him, and he wrote a book now that said how the Democratic Party covered up his decline.
Well, I don't think it was.
Really?
was it
Maybe not Jim Acosta. I'll give you the name. I don't want to say
It
it's
was one of
somebody
those.
else.
I'm pretty sure it was one of those CNN guys, though.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. And
But
wrote
he
a
was
book.
like, but there's video of him on
Oh,
TV
saying, yeah, how
saying
sharp he
he's
is.
he's sharp as a tack.
Run circles
I just
around
saw him.
me and-
He's great. Like I spoke to him this morning,
And now he wrote a
and now he
book
wrote a
how-
book
how it was
about
all
how he
covered
was
up.
declining for 4 years, and they were hiding his mental state.
anyone with 2 eyes, 1 eye.
I mean, it was very. That was
blind people
that's
could
one of
see
the
it.
biggest.
Go full circle.
That's one of the biggest.
There's a lot of incompetence. There's plenty of incompetence to look at in our government.
True.
You know, what happened yesterday, I wouldn't.
Oh, it's Jake Tapper.
Jake Tapper.
It's Jake Tapper.
What happened?
Sorry, Jim Acosta.
A couple of days ago with the chat thing. I don't know if I put it to the level of incompetence.
I don't
to be
think so.
honest with you.
At least one person.
Yeah.
I'm saying at least one guy added. Like,
I don't know,
Well, it's
man.
an
In
incompetent.
life,
It's an incompetent action.
I think until they figure
right. I
out.
don't think the guy's incompetent.
Should there be
Incompetence of-
guardrails?
No, I
Should
think until they
there
figure out
be
how that person was
guardrails?
added onto it,
if it had
because they can
levels-
figure that out.
if
Well, they
it
know
had
it was that
levels-
guy.
If it had
They
levels,
know.
I
It was a
call
different
that
guy
ass.
added him.
Oh, they know he added
know
them?
They
who
know
added
he
it.
added
Oh, I
him.
didn't know
Waltz,
that.
yeah.
They
I
know.
believe
They
so.
know
Oh,
who
Waltz.
I didn't know
Oh,
they knew
okay.
that.
I'll double check right
I
now.
didn't know that either.
While you guys are.
But
No,
I,
that's
I
okay.
think incompetence, kind of up there for that act. And
Right.
like I said, there's plenty of incompetence you can find on both sides. I don't care, but I would say careless more than incompetent.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I agree.
I've,
Yeah,
I've,
but-
I've,
but
My
I've-
argument would be you can't be
I've added
careless at that level.
Carelessness
I've
in
said-
that level is incompetence.
incompetence.
Now, is
No,
the
I
guy
agree.
is the guy incapable of doing his job? Are
No.
any of them, the guy who added him, the head of defense? No. But
a small
is
mistake.
it an incompetent?
Okay, then you can
action?
label the act incompetent,
Yeah.
yes, but
Yeah.
not the person is not
the-
incompetent because
the
they-
No,
important
no, I
step to
agree, I
move
agree.
forward is not to take action against the person. Although, I mean, they should privately take action against them in some regard, but whatever.
Doctors pay for a week.
The
Sure.
the important thing to come from this is they changed the protocol. That's what they should. That
they
is
did.
the
They-
biggest
they
thing.
changed the protocol and
is-
What was that thing
is
called
now-
again? What
But
was that
even for like
platform?
the next,
and the attacks
Signal?
went through and
Signal,
everything's okay.
they even like regardless they stop using Signal, whatever. From correspondence now has to be checked in a different way.
Yeah.
No matter what, they have to change a policy
Yeah.
somewhere that they're doing it in the Department
Absolutely.
of Defense.
I know, but that's what I was saying before. It's so hard. I don't know what. I think because government has existed for so long without any accountability, I don't even know what that looks like anymore. Without firing a person who works in government, what do you
Well,
do?
what do you do?
Yeah.
Do you dock their pay?
These guys have
Does that do
millions.
anything?
These
Right,
guys
like,
have
does
won
that
millions
matter?
already.
No.
It doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying. So what is a fair punishment, right?
There is nothing. You can't really
Right.
hurt
So
them.
I don't know,
If
but
you-
like there must be.
If you
there's gotta be
fire them, they get a
something.
better show on TV anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll get a better pay on TV.
Exactly.
Right?
They-
Yeah.
yeah,
it's
become an anchor or
True.
something.
There's no punishment for them.
Well, I just mean really
Yeah.
the punishment though in the current discourse is it's always the other side.
Send them to Canada.
It's punitive. It's not actually. If it's one thing, if like Trump was like, look, hey Seth, I like you, Leo, I wanted you for this job. That was too big of a screw up, and I'm firing you.
Right.
He has every right to do that. But the push is from the left, going, this guy's so stupid. This guy's so stupid. We told you he's probably drunk and stupid.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
like, well, they're not going to now fire
That was
him.
bad when they came out today. Was he drunk while he was writing?
Oh
those
yeah, of
things?
course, that was definitely
That was
coming.
terrible.
Yeah, of course they're going to say that. That
They
was
want
their
him
whole
out.
thing about him.
They
Yeah,
want him out.
that's the thing. It's like when one side just wants the guy out anyway,
Right.
they'll use any excuse. So then you can't believe their measure,
Right.
When they're like,
Exactly.
he must be fired for this.
Yep.
But then the other side now is just playing defense, and I'm like, I actually want the country to be better.
Right.
I want everything to operate smoothly.
I was
Let's do
thinking-
that and stop being like catty
As I said, both
about
sides,
who's
they,
in
they
trouble.
Don't work with you. That's
I
why
know.
I said they got to
I
start
know.
all over
They
again.
got to start. They have
Need
to work
term
together.
limits. Term limits.
Term limits are big. I was
We
thinking
always
this the
wind
other
up
day.
back on
What's
this.
the possibility? Like right now, everybody seems. I don't even know because I feel like everybody's like going Republican, whether you're Democrat, Republican or not. You just want to change. But I feel like I hear more Democrats like saying Trump sucks than people saying he's doing a good job. My thing is, all these people running now, like, I feel like the places that are always Democratic, you should run as a Democrat, but really be Republican, then take over it and take over that whole thing. Like, how massive of like
They thought that was what JD Vance was doing.
were they? Because like it's such a
Because JD
simple
Vance-
thing to
JD
do,
Vance
right?
Hated Donald Trump
'Cause-
for a while.
really?
That's
Oh,
what they
yeah.
thought he was doing at first. There was a lot of distrust from both sides.
Okay.
From JD Vance being the VP to Donald Trump,
Right.
Because he was very outspoken.
Right.
About his
He was a
disagreements
Democrat,
with
right?
Said he's added by Michael
I don't think
Waltz,
he.
sorry.
I don't know if he was ever a Democrat.
Okay, but he hated
Donald
Donald Trump
Yeah.
because there's that new girl running in New York that wants to take out AOC. She's a New York. She's got an accent.
I haven't seen this.
I think she's Republican. I don't even know what she is. But
Just
everybody,
run is the other thing.
yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah.
could.
But she's like,
Somebody tried.
and everybody's like,
Somebody
she'll be great
may have
because
tried
she's
to do
doing
that.
all the things that people want to hear. But get in and then like flip, and then like, aha.
It's even funnier.
That's coming soon.
Well, what's funnier
Yeah.
is like if you go far enough left and right, they
Well,
kind of
Eric,
just meet back
Eric
up.
Adams could have ran as a Republican. In fact, I would even say I think
Really?
Curtis Lewa could have ran as a Democrat with his police force and his experiences with police brutality.
Yeah, I mean,
on
if
his
you're
private
if
police
you're
force.
center left, center right,
Right.
it might be obvious if you change your thing. But
Right.
truly, at the fringes, it kind of goes full circle.
Right.
Like, this is gonna sound crazy, but you guys can look it up. I know this is true. Like, super far right, right, would be like, let's say segregation, bringing segregation back. Super far left also agrees with segregation. They just
Yeah.
don't call it that.
Right.
But it's the
Separation.
same thing.
It's the same. It's the same.
Like,
Concept.
it's the same
just,
concept.
Instead of
You
being instead
meet
of
back
being
up.
forced, you're doing it.
Right.
You're purposely separating yourself.
Right.
It's
They
the
would just
same-
say, instead of white
functionally
people
the
not
same
wanting
thing.
to be by black people, it's black people wanting to be by themselves.
Uh,
It's the same, but
it's
either
the
way,
same
it's the same thing.
You call it, you're getting the same
Yeah.
results.
And that happens in a lot of things, like
Well, that's why
money.
that's why it's a graph, because like
Yeah.
that what you're saying
Right, 'cause
is
it's
a
the
left side
four- it's the-
authoritarian versus a right side
the four
authoritarian.
stat.
Right. It's a grid.
Yeah,
And
true,
a compass. They call it a compass. But
True.
I think I'm gonna
yeah.
run.
So that's the left and right side
I'm moving
of
to the
the
country.
authoritarian.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
run
but it's
up
the
there.
same up down.
Going off the
Right.
grid.
Me too.
Anyway, I think we beat that one up.
All right.
Now we can keep going.
No,
No,
that
that's
was good.
good.
That was good. That felt good.
All right.
That
Then.
felt nice.
Thanks for listening, everybody. And as always,
Stay angry, annoyed, and amused.